In his essay, Death of the Author, Roland Barthes responds to the question, who has the authority over the meaning of the artwork? Barthes is mainly reacting to a widely accepted idea that it is the author who has the power over the meaning of the text. This idea is associated with the Renaissance period in Europe. During the medieval period, art was sponsored by the state and produced for the church. Artists behind these works of art remained anonymous because of the communal nature of art production. Artists were merely seen as mediators, the ideas behind their artworks bestowed upon them by God. In the Renaissance period, this changed with the emergence of the middle class. Private families can now afford to commission art because of the economic prosperity in Europe at that time. Because of this, artworks were not only made in communal workshops, they can now be made inside private studios. With the rise of humanism, the human was seen as almost equal to God, and art production became increasingly focused on the individual. Artists can now work in isolation and claim full authorship of their artworks. It is Giorgio Vasari who introduced the biographical model in analyzing artworks. His book, The Lives of the Most Excellent Painters, Sculptors, and Architects, is considered the first work of art history. Vasari glorified Renaissance artists with his superfluous words, creating a new brand of Renaissance art. To show you the extent of this glorification, let's look at this excerpt wherein he describes the artist Leonardo da Vinci. So great was his genius that to whatever difficulties he turned his mind, he solved them with ease. Leonardo began many things and never finished one of them. His hand was not able to attain to the perfection of art in carrying out the things which he imagined. This new brand of Renaissance artists gave birth to the concept of the artistic genius and the master. It sees the artist as the godly creator of the works called the masterpiece. Artists were seen superior to artisans. Their work required intellectual work in addition to the technical skills that artisans already had. To become a master, the artist must now create works that are unique and innovative. It is this artistic competition which supposedly pushes the artist to hone his craft and create great works of art. And I use the term his because it is only the men who are given the opportunity to become masters during this time. This idea fits well into the positivist paradigm, which is associated with the capitalist ideology emerging during this time. In this paradigm, it is assumed that all ideas can be rationalized, scientifically verified to arrive at a single answer. In the same way, the biographical analysis also always conveniently arrives at a single and fixed explanation. You only have to know the intention of the artist, and then you have deciphered the correct meaning of the artwork. But this idea is also contested by the field of linguistics and psychoanalysis. Within psychoanalysis, the unconscious also speaks through the artwork. We can see this in what they call automatic drawings, like doodles and scribbles, as well as in surrealist artworks, the image in which are drawn from dreams and desires of the unconscious. In linguistics, meaning is seen as something drawn outside the artist. It sees literature as some kind of collage of words, each word coming from a wider vocabulary that is already defined by culture and society. Language is already made that can function independently within text. Because of this, the text can speak for itself without the need for the artist to explain its meaning. These cultural texts do not draw their meaning from the author, but from cultural narratives and tropes that already exist in culture. Traditionally, the concept of the author assumes that the idea is created within the mind of the author and is only executed through the text. Text is seen as a mere self-expression or representation of the artist himself. Hence, the only correct meaning must be that of the artist's intention. For Barthes, this concept of authorship only imposes a limit to that text. In order to allow that text to expand, he proposes that we allow the death of the author and give the reader the power over the meaning of the text. He proposes an alternative term, the modern scriptor. The scriptor is only seen as a mediator, someone whose only power is to combine pre-existing texts in new ways. For the scriptor, writing is only a process of inscription. This proposal is radical, given the context when the essay was first published. It was a reaction against the ideas of formalism and structuralism. In formalism, it is the formal qualities that dictate the meaning of the artwork. While in structuralism, it is the social structures that are the origin of the artwork's meaning. In both ideas, the readers are seen as mere receivers of meaning, or powerless followers of social structures. This method encourages the reader to look for a deeper meaning of the artwork. The word deeper connotes an act of digging, as if there is a hidden source of meaning beneath the text itself, that hidden source being the author's intention and context. But to Barthes, the reader is more than that. There is no hidden source of meaning. The source of meaning is the moment of encounter between the reader and the text. Because the author merely combines words that already have meanings drawn from different parts of culture. These meanings become entangled within the artwork itself, creating multiple possibilities for interpretation. The task of the reader is to disentangle these words, starting from one point and following with a thread to arrive at one interpretation. Barthes says, "A text is made of multiple writings, drawn from many cultures and entering into mutual relations of dialogue, parody, contestation. But there is one place where this multiplicity is focused, and that place is the reader. The structure can be followed, run like a thread of a stocking, at every point and at every level, but there is nothing beneath." With his proposal to give birth to the reader, he democratizes art criticism. Anyone can provide valid interpretations of an artwork based on their own experiences and opinions, regardless of their knowledge about the author's intention and context. Each person can have different interpretations of an artwork at different moments of encounter. Meaning can now change together with the own context of the reader.